Stay hydrated, people. This is not an accident. You are watching this video right now. And if you watch Rhett Link's newest show, you came to the right place. And wow, we have a lot to talk about.
It's a simulation. Can you believe it, man?
What's up, everyone? My name is Rapha Conrad, also known as Random Rapha, and I am your host for Wondering and Wondering Through the Wonderhole, the show that we discuss, react, and share our predictions / theories about Rhett Link's newest show, Wonderhole. Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. I hope you like it here. And if it's not, hey, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I really missed you. Now, if you've seen some of my content, I would post here on my channel videos inspired by Rhett Link, Good Mythical Morning, all things mythical, from choreographing dances to their music, recreating their dancing, some skits, some vlogs, my collectibles, as you can see right here, along with these posters. And in fact, I am a producer and co-director, along with many other things, for a documentary about the fans of Good Mythical Morning and Rhett Link and all things mythical, aka the Mythical Beast, called For the Community. And that's community spelled with a K, because if you know, Rhett Link community makes sense. And I just want to plug in a little shameless plug right here. If you want to find out more about how you can support the documentary film, you can visit projectmythicalbeastfilm.com or click in the link in the description of this video. As a creative and a fully devoted, fully supported Mythical Beast, I always try to find some ways to create more while embracing that mythicality. And I remember this show, or many shows, I've seen it on YouTube channels, podcasts, and even on TV, where people have a post-show or an after-party talking about what happened on a certain episode of a certain series that just premiered. For example, I used to watch The Walking Dead a lot, and I remember there would be a live post-show where the host and two guests talk about that episode that just premiered, along with sharing their theories, and I was always interested in that. After I posted my reaction video of me reacting to the trailer to Wonderhole, I thought long and hard enough to do something like this you're watching right now. As Rhett Link and the mythical community would say, be your mythical best. So I decided to be my mythical best and do this. Well, I'm not sure it's going to be limited, but it's not a limited series, because I do believe there's going to be a season 2. But there will be 6 episodes for this series. There's going to be 6 episodes like this. And you cannot tell, maybe you can, because I'm talking to a camera, but I don't know who I'm talking to. I'm a little bit nervous. So if you see me sipping on this water, I am very nervous. But, you know, as what Miss Frizzle would say, and I think I'm paraphrasing, take chances, make mistakes, get messy. Maybe I'm saying it right. But, you know, the more that you do the uncomfortable things, the more that you grow, and you become better, and you become wiser. All the jazz hands. Anyway, I'm going off subject right here, but let's get to the first episode of this series. Episode 1 of Wonderhole. I thought it was going to be one of those series where you get to travel, or certain characters would go to a certain time, like Doctor Who, or what's that other series where they go to a certain destination? Oh, great example. If you know the series Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, the anime version, not the game show version, where the two heroes go travel through this time machine thing and they go that. I expected something like that because it's called Wonderhole, because in the trailer, there's a hole in their office. And I thought, oh, maybe they just jump into it and they go to a different place. That's what I thought. No hole. I mean, where's the hole? I mean, the title, which was great, by the way. But I was like, looking like, where's the hole? I mean, like, how did they get to this? How did they get to where it needs to be? Well, as said by Rhett themselves in an AME on the Mythical Society, if you are a how would I say this? Hardcore mythical beast and want to explore more realms of mythicality, I highly recommend joining the Mythical Society. It is totally worth it. But yours truly asked them if there was a connection between the medium-sized hole, which was featured in the first video they posted in 2023 called We Dug a Medium-Sized Hole. I asked if there was a connection between the medium-sized hole and the Wonderhole that was in the office. They said there's not, but the spirit of it, of both the medium-sized hole and the Wonderhole, is there. Although, ironically, on the day the first episode premiered and that episode of Good Mythical Morning, or Good Mythical Summer premiered, it was very ironic in a very good way that in the Wheel of Mythicality intro video, it was two guys that legitimately dug a medium-sized hole. So very convenient, very clever, I would say. But there was no hole. But I think this series is going to be sticking with like what they did with the videos they posted in 2023. It's going to be more of an adventure to see what they can do through their creative little minds. And in the beginning, they started off with the idea of wanting to take a trip on those luxury private jets. And they thought it would be a good idea, but they decided to recreate it or do a simulation of that luxury, expensive flight. And I have to give props to Mythical Entertainment for putting together a replica of the private jet, which they did it in their, not the main studio where they filmed Good Mythical Morning, but one of their small sound stages, which they filmed other interviews, some bits that are scripted. For example, in going back to the Dug a Medium-Sized Hole video, spoiler alert if you have not watched it, that there is a mole, and they filmed the scene where they have the mole and that location in that studio, along with many other things that they filmed that they can use for filming that is for Good Mythical Morning, that will be recorded and used in a certain bit, blah, yada, yada, yada. But they were able to put that together and even hire an actress who plays a flight attendant. And I think she is a legit flight attendant because as someone who does a lot of acting on the side, sometimes they call for someone that has experience with that certain field to play this certain character. And they hired a pilot, a legitimate pilot, who is also, now, if you're a gamer, you know what it's like, but his content, which is called, Air Force Proud 95, which they said in the video that he flew all the way from Florida to do this. So he was the pilot, but he put together this simulation for them. I think it is a real thing. I'm not sure if they were, I don't know, maybe they'll post content on the Mythical Society if this was a legitimate simulation, because as someone who grew up around with a military family and familiar with aviation, I have been on simulators for jets. I actually flew one at an aviation museum, so you can get the experience for that. But I think they really put it together. But I appreciate and admire of the effort that Mythical put together this plane altogether and even hire the people. So, I mean, kudos to them. And we already have this idea that, we got that. I kind of have the idea of, for some of you know, like especially the early episodes of Good Mythical Morning, they did this thing called the backup plan, where they do jobs that are unlike what they do, hosting Good Mythical Morning, to see how they thrive in this certain field. It kind of reminds me of the backup plan. Not the movie, but the things that they did on Good Mythical Morning. I think there's 6 of them, I believe, but they did things where they were a an auctioneer, they were real estate agents, beekeepers. My favorite is when they went to the aquarium and Rhett was a merman. Love that. But I kind of had that same feel right there. And of course, I remember in the reaction video that I did about the food, I mean, Mythical Kitchen, if you're not subscribed to their channel, please and thank you. Subscribe. But they are able to recreate the food for like what would be presented on if you were able to take an expensive luxury private jet. And the thing that caught my attention, especially when the food was served, there were no forks and knives and there were spoons. I'm just going to say this right now. I stand for spoons. I know that sounds very weird, but you know, I mean, like if there was like no utensils in the house, I'm just like, I was fine with a spoon, you know. Okay, that sounded very weird. It's totally uncut, people. Anyway, but the interaction of trying to eat this certain thing, especially for some of you mythical beasts out there, Link does not like tomatoes. I personally do not like tomatoes, but cucumbers. He doesn't like cucumbers either, and I don't like cucumbers. My goodness, we don't like Bob and Larry. Shout out to my fans of VeggieTales out there. And also, I was a huge fan of VeggieTales, which I will talk about in a future video. But I love how there's just like, you still have that friendship vibe and this whole YouTube documentary style they put together. And especially as someone who's doing a documentary film about their fan base, and oh, I hear it playing right now. I think that's them right now. But as someone who's doing a documentary film about Rhett Link's fan base, there is a certain circle of fans that really, this is where they really get into fan fiction and of course write some things that Rhett Link would do, even though Rhett Link wouldn't do it in real life. But when Rhett Link are together, especially when they're put in their pajamas or they're in the bed together, I mean, this is, it gets that certain fan base going, if you know what I'm talking about. So there was like, oh my gosh, Rhett Link touch butts together. Oh my gosh, Rhett Link are in the same bed. They're feeding with each other. So I was like, yeah, I have a feeling Rhett Link knew that they were going to get that certain circle of mythical beasts, you know, get them going. And I was like, and then they'll write more fan fiction. So I'm a writer, but I have not written fan fiction, but I have research about it. And I just, again, going back to be able to recreate the idea of the luxury bed, especially when they had the chairs and they converted to a bedroom right there. I mean, and especially the merch. I mean, the pin, the pillows, the t-shirts that Rhett Link wore, aka their pajamas. Mythical, if you're watching this, please make the MythicAir merch legitimate. Make it happen, because I personally, especially added to this collection, will love to add that. The MythicAir collection, the shirts, the pins, the pillows. I mean, that will come in very handy with the latest collectible coming out, the Mythical Society blanket. And again, I'm going to say this, please join the Mythical Society, especially if you would enjoy quarterly or annually, so you can get that blanket. Anyway, just want to say that. But I just couldn't stop laughing, especially. I mean, they've been friends for a long time, soon to be 40 years, which will be, September 4th is their 40th anniversary. Cannot believe it. But you can just feel just that friendship vibe right there. And especially during the reaction video to the trailer, I noticed there are going to be, I noticed some celebrity cameos, and of course, listening to other interviews and seeing some pictures about more cameos in this series. When they turn on the TV and they have this show that kind of has the same feel of Deal or No Deal Island, and you hear Howie Mandel voice over that, like, they did it. I mean, because they did, Rhett Link were on Howie Mandel's podcast. And I just had a feeling of like, oh, they're going to be on it. And of course, I'm not sure if Howie was on America's Got Talent years ago. Maybe, I don't know, or maybe the other Howie. But Rhett Link were on America's Got Talent years ago with the Dope Zebra. And of course, I think they met him and got to know him in the past before they were on the podcast. So, I mean, like, I didn't see it coming, but then I just had a feeling of like, Howie's, I mean, if Rhett Link were on Howie's podcast, then Howie's going to collaborate with Rhett Link somehow. But I thought that was just clever how they incorporated this deal or no deal island type of show, which based after watching it, I have a feeling I mean, someone that has watched the show is already coming up with the idea with this type of series. Yeah, you know. Anyway, but as soon, like, you saw a little bit in the series of signs of like, oh, something's brewing. I mean, something's up. But of course, I kind of just have a little thought, maybe they're going to be shipwrecked. I don't know, shipwreck or probably a crash or something like that. But of course, then they show that and they realize, if I learned from the videos that they posted in 2023, and of course, with their creative minds of creating sketches and all that, I knew they were going to add in some comedic scripted content in this, what you supposedly going to think is a documentary or a vlog or a fancy smancy vlog. But I didn't expect to see the second part of this episode really into, man, like, I was watching a sitcom. Like, I thought it's like, okay, I'm watching a vlog, like, oh, now I'm watching the sitcom thing. And if they said that they traveled 3 years ahead, and then you see Rhett Link trying to be Rhett Link on an island, I mean, kudos with the idea of trying to use the coconuts. And especially if you see it on TikTok with the coconuts trend, if you know, you know, incorporate into that with the camera and the I think it's the backup charger or the zip drive, something like that. I mean, wow. And the thumbnail that I still cannot, I'm still cracking up just thinking about the thumbnail idea. And especially with, as someone who watches Good Mythical Morning, well, on certain times of the day, I don't watch it up as uploaded, which I am going to post a vlog, a little experimental video of me trying to find the best time to watch Good Mythical Morning, so be on the lookout for that. But I remembered every time they post a video up and I see the thumbnail, and then just a few hours later, they change a new thumbnail once or twice, or they go back to the original one, and that kind of makes us mythical beasts a little bit, you know, miffed about that. But I think, like I said, Rhett Link know their fan base very well, so they know about, like, oh yeah, so we're gonna throw in that thumbnail joke, but actually doing the thumbs like this, trying to find the thumbnail, that makes sense. And of course, with, okay, so if you're, they said it in a podcast, on their podcast, Ear Biscuits, the creators that they were inspired by are Reese Darby and Takai, how do you say it? Taika? Is that how you say it? Please don't at me if I mispronounce his name, but they're huge fans of Flight of the Conchords, and after rewatching the Flight of the Conchords, I do see some similarities between them and Rhett Link, especially earlier Rhett Link, especially with comedy and the music, and I can see why they were inspired by them. And when that bit, the whole story about them being on an island, it kind of had vibes, the inspiration from This Flags Mean Death, and it was just like going around. But I did not expect Reese Darby being the narrator for this. I mean, and I know some mythical beasts that are also fans of Reese Darby, This Flags Means Death, and of course, Flight of the Conchords. But I could just just imagine all of them screaming when Reese was narrating Rhett Link's life on the island. So convenient. And I'm just going to say this right now. So the part where Rhett was trying to be an exterior designer, and there were some props on there, including some string and the shaving cream or something like this type of thing that made Link's face so smooth, especially. And because and then it's very weird that like if it's 3 years passed by and he's not wearing glasses, I guess because sometimes without glasses he'll get headaches, but I think his vision got better. It's kind of like if you watch Castaway, where you see the transformation from Tom Hanks' character to like, you know, being a guy, but now he's like fitter, and then of course his vision is better, or he's drinking more water. If you know, you know. But I just found that interesting. But there was a certain prop on there that I noticed, the red truck. Now, if you watch my reaction trailer, or if you watch the trailer in general, there is a red truck, which is, if you listen to the couple of episodes on their podcast, Ear Biscuits, that was Link's truck. And of course, he had it back, like he had it as a gift for Christmas, few Christmases ago, that same red truck, and it's featured in a trailer. That toy version of the red truck was featured in that. And I think there's going to be a little bit of an Easter egg, a little bit of theme. I'm just saying, I'm not sure if it's going to be on the second episode, but one of the episodes, there's going to be the theme of the red truck, or a little Easter egg that is related to Rhett Link's childhood, or to a mythical morning throughout there. So in that way, for us mythical beasts, we'll notice that. And again, very, very clever. But and when you see the journey in the trek, I mean, it was just joyful just to see what Rhett Link can do. And something, as they said before, they tried their best to break it into the television industry, the movie industry, doing that, but they either have to limit their creativity in order to make it suitable, or they just get rejected completely. And it was just incredible. And of course, the comedy, I mean, as someone who has been in entertainment, both in front of the camera, behind the camera, on stage and off stage, I noticed in like these past few years, like comedy in general has dwindled a little bit, but it's just so nice, so great to see comedy like this that is so authentic, and you're not ashamed to laugh your head off after seeing it. I mean, don't get emotional. Don't get emotional. Don't cry. Don't cry. And we see all this until the peanut butter. Although I do want to say, before I get to the peanut butter part, the beach, I want to say it was taking place in Hawaii, and the color grading for that, the filter that they use from it, that just gives me like the desire to go. I mean, I've been to some beaches, but I've never been to fancy beaches like in Hawaii, or the most go-to place beaches. You know, I currently live in a place where I can just drive 2 hours to Panama City Beach. But the way the color, like the colors, the presentation, the shots, the angles that there was filmed, that makes me want to go to the beach. Now, peanut butter. So they said that they, to themselves, I mean, they're known as being beaker boys, lick daddies, but primarily known as peanut butter boys. And when I saw the peanut butter, before they said it, I had this thought, like, they are not going to incorporate the peanut butter bit in this. If you saw their fanfic episode, you know. But they, they opened the peanut butter. It was completely sealed. And I called it right away. They said, like, you're not going to, I'm just going to paraphrase a little, screw the peanut butter. And again, Rhett Link know their fans. They know their fans, especially that certain circle of mythical beasts that do fan fiction, or they'll just geek out over like Rhett Link doing things that they don't usually do, and really that expectation doing that. So Rhett Link know their audience. They know their fans. So they note this. So to incorporate that bit into this series, wow. And especially for those that are not familiar with Rhett Link, they'll be just they'll slowly understand about that, oh, Rhett Link like peanut butter. And oh, they cannot screw the peanut butter, but they do have something else if they want to. But I was hoping that they would break into music because I saw in the trailer they have the ukulele in it, and figured, oh, there's probably going to be some music in the series, which they have confirmed not every single episode is going to be a song. But having an anthem about them liking peanut butter, I've been waiting for that, and along with other mythical beasts, I've been waiting for a song like that to drop. Well, it's not, I mean, by the time of filming this, it's not available at this moment. I probably assume it'll probably be available probably about like a few more hours after the episode premiered. But it was so catchy, and especially especially for us mature people. Like, again, going back to not feeling so ashamed to laugh your head off at certain things that are so off. It had, again, that Flight of the Conchords, that vibe, that the Lonely Island, ironically, they're alone on an island, feel, or that Weird Al Yankovic style of music into the show. And it was just chef's kiss. And you kind of think that, oh, it's going to continue on when it ended, which literally I was just like, oh, is there more of this? Oh, wait a minute. You gotta wait until next week. I kind of expected that they were going to continue with the theme of being on the island, but then realized in the beginning that they're not going to go through a whole every single time. It's more of your imagination that they're going through this whole into the next adventure. In your own mind, create your own story type of thing. But this is, as I've seen a lot of YouTube channels and creators that come up with this TV style thing, like, for example, Michelle Carr's Mission Possible. Is that how I say it? Mission Accomplished. Not Mission Impossible. That's that one with Tom Cruise. But Mission Accomplished, it kind of almost had the same thing where she would just do these things that she would not do, but she accomplished them. And of course, there's some other YouTube creators that don't have a series, or they do these vlogs where they go on an adventure, but it doesn't have a continuing storyline. It just has, like, they present it in a way as if it was the viewer's first time watching the video. But I don't believe, like, there's like a continuing story, like, oh, let's go through the hole to go to the next adventure. But it still has that, as what they said, they love the word wonder, W-O-N-D-E-R, which just seems something that is very astounding, maybe magical in a way. And after, I'm not going to give away what episode 2 is going to be like, because I'll give away what it is, but they are doing again with something that is like documentary vlog style and incorporating a story while filming something that is an actual event, but they create some scripted fictional story into that. And I think that's all I'm going to say about episode 1. I want to share my thoughts about if you want to see this series, because I've seen pictures and videos of like the younger audience, even babies that watch Good Mythical, which that brightens my heart. But I kind of feel like this is more of like, you need to have just a little bit of adult supervision to watch it with your kids. That's my opinion about that. But there's some parts that are very suitable. There's a little bit of cussing in it. If you are very mindful and not to have your children listen to that. So just being mindful about that. However, the flow of the comedy, like I said a while ago, it is unlike I've seen in other forms of entertainment and comedy that I've seen both on TV and movies and live stage. I mean, it is just, again, I don't want to overuse the word chef's kiss. Let's just say wunderbar. Oh, it's so fitting. Wunderbar. Wonderful. Makes sense. they incorporated the vlog style, like something you see for other vloggers, but of course for them, doing something that it's happening in real life, documentary vlog style, their own experiments, see what they can do, but then incorporating scripted fictional stories, but still have their own spirit, their own creativity, themselves, period, their friendship is just a nice balance. And it's like subtly how you can just like this subtle way of like transitioning from vlog documentary into a scripted story. You feel a little bit at a time, but then of course you can understand the switch from documentary vlog into scripted content. And just seeing them being themselves as acting. I mean, I've seen them like act like in Buddy System, but if you haven't seen Buddy System season 1 and 2, I highly recommend checking that out. I'm just recommending everything as I speak because I'm a fully devoted, fully supported Mythical Beast. But comparing to like the acting that they were in 2016, 2017 to where they are right now, so much improvement. And it just, as someone who does acting, you kind of just have to let go the idea of trying to be something else and you just be, and make it very believable. And to them just being themselves, even though they're doing scripted, like, scripted comedy and doing something on script, it's just incredible. I mean, going from them being best friends to engineers, and now they're internet tenders, and they're doing more, especially what they're able to capture what they have, especially with an amazing team like Mythical, and of course with a lot of support from us Mythical Beasts. I mean, I know I kind of sound like I'm gushing over with them, but as someone who has met them before and has been a fully devoted, fully supportive Mythical Beast since late 2017 until I was introduced in 2017, been a fan since New Year's Day 2028. But just seeing that from that time on to where they are now, it just warms my heart. And I am so excited for next week's episode 2. And I'm just going to say this right now. I do believe there's going to be a season 2. I mean, it's already turning into a masterpiece already. So, okay, after that, I need to take a sip of water of this. And then, as I said, be and stay hydrated, but also, if it looks pink right here, I use this little packet called True Lemon. This is their watermelon flavor. It's really good. And of course, yes, Mythical merch right there at this mug. Yeah, mythical.com, not a sponsor. Although, that would be really nice if there was, Mythical would do such a way where they have like sponsorships for creators. Mythical, if you're watching, yep. Just kidding, but am I really kidding? Who knows? Well, my friends, that concludes the very first episode, the inaugural episode of Wondering and Wandering Through the Wonderhole. If you enjoyed this episode, click that like button. It really does wonders. Also, if you want to be the first to see next week's episode and many more of this series and lots of brand new content premiering very soon, make sure you subscribe and click on that bell. And if you want even more content created by yours truly, plus some updates, make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter, or X, whatever you call it, at Rapha Conrad. Now, before I close, I've said this before, but I am so proud of Rhett and Mythical for putting together this series and see what they have accomplished in their creative endeavors. I am so proud of them. I want to say congrats, and I can't wait to see what's next for them in not only this series, but many more in their creative journey. Okay, I gotta stop right now before I burst into tears. But my name is Rapha Conrad, also known as Random Rapha, and your host with the most. And I will see you in next week's episode. In the meantime, keep on wondering and think it and seek it. Bye.
Peanut Butter Brothers, sharing peanut butter cause we are peanut butter lovers. Perfectly dividing peanut butter on leaves that are peanut butter covered. Peanut Butter Brothers, sharing peanut butter, cause we are peanut butter lovers.